Howdy, 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 guys. Welcome to the first Monday in August. Man, the summer's going so fast, but welcome anyway. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. And another Monday. I'm so happy to have y'all out here. So happy I get to be out here talking as well. Let me start off with an SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. And I love all the fellow reality fans of the world. Man, I love people who don't like reality TV either. But I'd rather talk to the ones who like reality TV. So thank you for coming on board. Thank you for joining the show. We're right in the middle of Big Brother season. So just a warning going in. I figure we're going to mainly be talking about Big Brother. But if there's other stuff y'all want to talk about, I'm game. Just throw them up in the comments. And I'm going to try to keep up with the comments. I say that every week. And I think some weeks I do better than others. But I'm going to try to keep up with everything I see out there. And I'll answer as many questions as I can. No promises, okay? But I'll answer as many as I can. Let's see who we got out here first of all. Anthony, Caleb, Don, Ma, Andy, Travel the World. Hey, Travel. I love that name. Brian Hoster. Hey, Brian. Maryland Southern. Hey, Maryland. And who else? Shayna B. Howdy. Got all kinds of friends and folks out there. So thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. And I'm sure we'll have a few more getting on board soon. Let me say this. Because I've been doing my little 15-minute recaps of the overnight feeds every morning. I notice I have a few more people that watch the Cliff Notes live, not live, watching it later on, because, this is recorded. Yeah, the beauty of YouTube, you can watch it whenever. So there's a lot of people who watch it after the fact. So for all of y'all out there, thank you. I appreciate y'all tuning in as well. And hey, come out and do the live version one of these days and throw some questions at me, and I'll be happy to answer those as well. So congratulations. And Don Budd is saying, Stan Claire. Yes, Don has already asked me to talk a little bit about Claire this evening, and I certainly will. It was an exciting week for Claire so far, right? She certainly got a little screen time inside the Big Brother house. So, yeah, absolutely. Andy saying, I love Tiffany and Claire. Tiffany is quite the player as well. There are some good players in the house this season. I would love to be inside playing a game with some of these folks and matching wits up against them and see how we do and everything else. It's been fun so far. A little predictable, maybe. I kind of miss Frenchie and some of his stuff that first week. He was so chaotic, so going every which direction. Never could really figure out what his plans were at times. That was kind of fun to watch as a viewer. In the house, it would have driven me crazy. I would have just had to go in the back room and taking a nap. At least that's what I would have wanted to do. You can't really do that inside that house because as soon as you go take a nap, people start talking about you, right? So yeah, you gotta be a little careful. Hey, George Vlogs, howdy to yourself as well. And Bex Howe, welcome aboard. So yeah, it's a little hectic, but so what makes it fun as a viewer to watch, right? So a few things I was going to talk about. First of all, now I always typically say, oh, this day in history or today's national whatever. Well, tomorrow's National Watermelon Day, and I don't really want to talk about that. So I figured I'd leave that alone. But y'all know what not today is, but this week is. Today is National Clown Week. Yes, indeed, clowns. And I guess you're talking everything from the circus to Stephen King's clowns and everything in between. People are really hot and cold about clowns, right? And all I can think about for the rest of my life, when I think about clowns, I'm probably going to think about being inside the Big Brother house during prank week. Y'all remember that during my season? We had clowns show up. We're smashing pies in each other's faces and just laughing and all. And all of a sudden, I hear people screaming. I look up in the mirror, and there are clowns staring right there, staring us down and showing up behind these mirrors all throughout the house throughout that evening. And these are kind of creepy clowns. These were a lot more like the Pennywise clown from Stephen King, not the nice friendly clowns that blow up balloons for you. These were the scary ones. And it wasn't that they were so scary by themselves. It was scary though when they just suddenly would show up while you're just walking by some wall, not really thinking, and all of a sudden here's a face right there in front of you. And I gotta say, there was a point where Nicole was so worried and so scared that I ended up staying. I don't remember if I spent the night in the same room that she was in or not, or I just stayed with her for a little while. But it was just the two of us back in the RV room. And all of a sudden a clown shows up on one side and she's kind of jumping a little bit. All of a sudden a clown shows up on the other side. And this clown points right at Nicole and then does this. Now, that's pretty intense for a clown, isn't it? That kind of took both of us back when we saw that. So that was kind of an interesting week. Madeline Kelly said, I just rewatched your season, so I do remember the clowns and prank week. Ha, ha, ha. That was a crazy week. Between the pies, and the pies were, and who said, what's this? I don't know. I think that's the universal signal for someone doing horrible things to a person. You're kaput. You're over. That's it. So that's when someone right across the thoroughfare. Right? So anyway, that's what the clown was doing, just pointing straight at us and doing that. Yeah, it's crazy times. Lori H saying that was so creepy. I agree, it was creepy. And for those of you. For those of you who aren't watching, I'm drawing my hand across my throat. So sorry. I forget that some people are busy doing other things other than just staring at me for the next hour. And so, drawing my hand across my throat is what one of the clowns was doing. So we've got that. Now, I thought, and I'm going to answer a couple of questions on here. Who said, my aunt and grandma went to clown college, then performed at children's hospitals. Well, that would be kind of fun. How do you get graded? Is there such a thing as a clown that goes to clown college? I guess you're not a clown till you graduate. Do they call you an apprentice clown or just a funny person wearing too much makeup before you graduate? I don't know. And can you fail clown college? What kind of classes do you take? Do you take classes where you blow up balloons? How many people can you fit inside a little clown car? I don't know, but I have a feeling the clowns that were in the Big Brother house were probably the ones that dropped out of clown college early because they never quite picked up on the be nice and friendly and make people laugh. They were the dark side of the clowns. But it made me think. Here's a question for y'all guys. I had the clowns during my season. It scared a few people, and some of us just kind of laughed a little bit. If they have clowns this season, and they've got to have them at some point, right? Somewhere down the road, we're going to have some clowns show up in this house. I hope. Seems like they do it every year. Who in this house are y'all going to be most excited to see when they first encounter the clowns? When the clowns pop up in front of them, who do y'all think is going to give the best reaction to that? Now, I'm going to give you a few of my answers in a second. I want to see what y'all say. And while you do that, I'll look at a few other questions on here. Rita Case. Hey, Cliff, why did they cut out the live feeds? Cut out the live feeds during the discussions. Rita, sometimes it's because we get called out for singing or humming, or sometimes it's because you're talking about production or things that you may have said in the diary room. But sometimes if it's just during some hard strategic discussion and we're on the edge of our seat saying, oh my gosh, what's this person saying? Or what are they proposing now? And all of a sudden the feeds go away. Sometimes I think sometimes it's cut away because Big Brother doesn't want you to know everything and see everything. If there's something that's really, really important, I think sometimes they'll cut the feeds because they want to save that for the TV shows on the Wednesday and Thursday and Sunday nights. So that's just my guess. I mean, there's a lot of reasons they shut it down. Sometimes I watch the live feeds and it seems to shut down for no reason whatsoever. It's not as though anyone is talking about anything important and you just lose it for a second. I don't know. Maybe someone tripped over the power cords that the camera's plugged into behind the wall for all it. I don't know all the time. There's times I really wonder about it, but that's part of the answer there. All right, let's see what else. Which episode of your season was this? George is asking. When was that? That was day 30 is when, it was Camp Counselor. It was when Holly won HOH. So it was day 51 was Tommy, day 58, if I recall. I think it was day 58 on day 58 to day 65. See, I still know my numbers. Now I don't know what episode that was, but that's what day it was. So just for your own little information. Let's see what's Dolores is asking, do I think it's boring? No, not really. Predictable a little bit. I mean, the only issue I really have had here in the past week or two is that once the veto competition takes place, there's such a well-defined target. Everyone's in agreement. Everyone pretty much said, Frenchie's got to go. And Frenchie went home this week 2. Then everyone said, Brent's got to go home. Brent went home week 3. And now, everyone's saying, Whitney needs to go home. Well, I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, so I'm not going to talk about who won veto or what the decision was of the veto competition today or the veto ceremony. But it just seems like there's not enough fighting going on with the targets. Now, we saw a little bit of it this week. It seems like people have been arguing Whitney versus Hannah, and the members of the Cookout Alliance are all trying to protect Hannah as much as possible. And a lot of the other people, for a while, they were trying to go after Hannah and really protect Whitney. I mean, Alyssa and some other folks were saying, Whitney may work with us if we save her at this point in time. But it seems like everyone's kind of here recently over the past day or two switched. So they're all kind of thinking that Whitney's the one that needs to go. So, yeah, I'm not going to say boring, Dolores. I'm just going to say that it seems a little too predictable for these days in between the eviction and when we have like the veto competition occur. I want to see a little bit more chaos happening because it just makes it a little bit more fun. I hope you get what I'm saying on that. I don't ever call it boring because it's Big Brother. You got happy days, you got boring days, you got a whole lot of in between as well. Kevin, I said, who would you like to see win HOH week 5? I want to see a shakeup. I want to see. I don't have a huge issue with the Royal Flush or the Cookout Alliances, either ones. I mean, they're big alliances. I personally was never a fan of the big alliance because I wasn't in it during my season. So I'd like to see someone maybe outside one of those alliances win just to shake things up a little bit. Can you imagine a Brittany HOH? She would be interesting. I don't know really who she'd go after. I kind of think she'd go after Team Kings, but would she pull the trigger and take a chance that she's going to put a big target on her back? I don't know. Everyone else would be encouraging her to do it, so she may. I have a feeling Brittany would go along with what people were wanting her to do and whispering in her ear and all that. Derek F would be another one that would be kind of interesting just because, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to watch him in the HOH and see how he does. So that's one of them. Joyce Grinstead, do you think anyone can outsmart Tiffany? I don't know. Tiffany's turning into quite the puppet master, isn't she? I like Tiffany and Claire, and we're going to talk about Claire. She's behind everything. I mean, she absolutely is thinking 2 steps ahead of everyone else. I'll tell you one thing. She identifies a target and she goes after that target. She's wanting Sarah Beth out at this point in time, and she is coming up with so many arguments about why Sarah Beth ought to go. I know she's talked about how she thinks Kylan has a final 2 with Sarah Beth. So if you're in an alliance with Kylan, you better be careful. She's talked about Sarah Beth is going to go after you, Christian, Alyssa, if she gets a chance. So you better go after. I mean, she's got a reason for every person in that house why they need to go after who she wants them to go after. She throws all these little paranoia and seeds out there to everyone, gets them all nervous and thinking about it. And then I feel like Tiffany just kind of steps back and does a little and watches the gears start to work. And next thing you know, I think Tiffany's doing great. She's had a little friction with a few people. She and Azza kind of got at it a little bit, but very minor. But I am curious to see as we go further down the road. What I'm really curious to see is, as smart as this cast is this season, such as Claire, who is incredibly smart, who's going to figure out that Tiffany's the puppet master behind this first? And is it going to be too late for them to stop her, or are you going to see people suddenly kind of gang up on her that maybe are more the competition beast and get her out before they get to that chance? I think there's a possibility that it could happen, but from what I've seen right now, if I'm having to pick someone who deserves to win this season of Big Brother, Tiffany is right up there at the top of someone who very well could win the whole thing. I think she's just playing a great game. Shelly O'Brien, love your podcast. What news surprised you most when you were finally free? That's a good question. Let's see. What? They wouldn't tell me anything. Even when I got out of the house, when I was booted and I still had a week in sequester, I was saying, oh man, just please let me get some news about my football team. Nothing. I did. The only thing they told me, I may have mentioned this on before, we had some earthquakes right around the 4th of July in that house. And I was really worried that they'd been bad, that people had been injured. And so as soon as I got out, one of the first questions I asked was, hey, those earthquakes in July, everyone okay? Was it major? Is this just some huge disaster? They said, yeah, they were big quakes, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. It turned out not to be a big deal, Cliff. So they did tell me that and made me feel better. What news did I hear? All right, I give y'all a little bit of an insight. I heard while I was in the car heading to my sequester spot, another car came by with their window rolled down, and it was a news on, and all I could hear as they drove by was Trump, and that was it. I heard the name Trump, and all I think is, wow, what's going on with President Trump at the time? I had no clue, because remember when we went into the house, there was a lot of there's just a lot of talk about impeachments and all kinds of stuff going on. And I had no clue what had happened in politics for 3.5 months. They wouldn't tell me anything. So we had that. And here's the other question, the thing I was really curious about that I know none of y'all really care so much about, but for me, it was a big deal. I wanted to know how the oil and gas industry was doing, because obviously I work in oil and gas, and I was worried, did I have was everything looking great, or had everything crashed? And so I was asking a lot of people, hey, what's the price of oil? What's the price of oil? I said, we don't know that, Cliff. Even if we were willing to tell you, we don't know that. So I don't know. The short answer, what surprised me most, there were a couple of mass shootings I remember hearing about that was mentioned to me as soon as the finale was over. And that was horrible to hear. I hated to hear that. But that was some of the first news that I actually did hear about. All right, let's see. Shayla Zustain, would you go on Big Brother again? Well, yeah, I'd go on Big Brother again. I'd have to talk to the family and make sure they were okay with it, because it very much is a family sacrifice, even if I'm the one going in the house. But yeah, I'd go in again. And I've said before, the real question is, if I went in again, would I play exactly the same person? I probably wouldn't be quite so trusting. I probably wouldn't be quite so loud when it comes time to talking and all that. But yeah, I'd do it again. All right. Dawn Bud said that she has to go by 8:30. And the last thing I want to do is not talk about Claire while Dawn's in here, since she made a special request. So I'm going to talk about Claire, and then we'll get back to a couple other questions. Claire analysis. First of all, I think she's playing a great job. I think she was because y'all remember, she wasn't originally part of the cast. And when Christy, I think, had to leave because apparently she tested positive for COVID, then Claire got brought in. And I don't know how Christy would have played. She may have done fantastic as well, but I've enjoyed watching Claire play the game. She's smart. Oh, she is so smart, the way she's approached stuff. Just think about the alliances that she's in. She's in the Royal Flush. She's in the Jackpots, which is a little 3-person alliance with her and Tiffany and Sarah Beth. Of course, Tiffany's throwing Sarah Beth under the bus, so I'm not sure if the Jackpots alliance is that tight, but she's in the Royal Flush, she's in the Jackpots, she's in the Detectives, which is her team Queens, along with Derek X. She's in a Snake Eyes Final 2 alliance with Tiffany, so she's got all these connections. Really, the only people that she doesn't have connections with is 4 or 5 people on the other side of the house. Brittany, Derek F., Whitney, who else I mentioned, and Hannah, perhaps. So there's a few people that she's not real tight with, but for the most part, she's got good connections with everyone. Now, I have heard her name mentioned a little bit, so there is some concern. But I think, even before her wild card competition win, which we saw on the TV show last night, even before that, I think she was going to easily make it to jury. But yeah, the only thing that worries me a little bit, Tiffany was talking on the cameras, or maybe she was talking to Hannah, I don't remember, but she said she's got all these people she wants to boot. And obviously she wants to get her final 6, the Cookout Alliance, to the final 6. I'm not sure how that fits in with Claire. They've got a final 2, but I'm not sure Tiffany really intends to honor it. But the other concern is that Tiffany has said that she may need to get rid of Claire before too much longer, because she's worried that Claire knows too much of Tiffany's game. Tiffany has kind of used Claire as a sounding board. She's thrown out a lot of ideas, suggestions, some that Claire's taken, some that Claire didn't, just heard and it's filed it away in her memory system. But Tiffany's a little afraid that Claire knows too much about her, and that she could kind of expose Tiffany on down the road if she lets her stick around too long. So I do think at some point Claire's going to be betrayed, backstabbed, backdoored. I don't know which way you want to call it, but I think when she goes, she's going to be surprised because she feels like she's in a pretty good position, and she is. And now she won the wild card competition. She gets safety for 2 weeks. And here's the beauty of that. First of all, she gets safety, which is always nice to have, because then you can relax and everything else. But even more important, well, not more importantly, but also important, in addition to the safety, is just the fact that everyone else knows in the house that for the next 2 weeks, or however long it is till jury, that she can't be touched, that she is safe. which means that no one is talking about her. No one is putting her name in front of other people as targets. They aren't trying to throw out ideas of targeting her. You know, they may talk about her a little further down the road, but it just, when you have safety like she has, it means not only are you safe, but no one's talking about you in the house, which is a very good thing at this point in time. So applause to Claire for winning it. And she just didn't win any old wild card competition. No. Y'all know which one she won, right? This way. She won a rolling ball competition. So right there, fondness in my heart for Claire. Two of a kind. I'm so happy to see that. Here's another thing I wanted to point out that y'all may or may not know. This is week 4 of Big Brother season 23. Y'all know what happened in week 4 of season 21, Big Brother? Yeah, that's the week that I got booted out of the house. Well, they tried to boot me. Got evicted from the house. Did my own battle back competition to get back in the house. Then won HOH and put people up and all of that. So it was a pretty amazing week for me. And for Claire, she's starting off strong as well, right? Yeah, I would love to see Claire. She won the wild card. She's safe. I would love to see her turn around and win an HOH and maybe shake things up as well. I don't know which direction Claire would go with. I have a feeling she maybe would go after the Team Jokers, Derek F. or Azza or Brittany, just because they're kind of easy hits and she doesn't have the connections with. If she wanted to get a little risky, she could go after the Kings. I just don't know if she would do it because that's a pretty risky move to make. But no, I love watching Claire play the game. I think she's doing fantastic. All right, let's see. What else? Taylor Fuentes. If you were in the house, who would you be in an alliance with and who would you target? Yeah, that's tough because it depends on whose place I'd be taking. I'd like to say I'd be in the Royal Flush and I'd be taking the person I feel somewhat in tune with and that I can relate to their game is Kyland a little bit. I mean, where he's got relationships with everyone. Sarah Beth and he are not in a showmance or anything, but they're a tight connection. It seems they trust each other. And there's a lot of things about his game that makes me feel similar, that I would like to play the game. So yeah, maybe Kyland and the Royal Flush type situation. But I don't know. I was an underdog in my season. It may be more likely that I'd be more like maybe a Derek X, where, because think about it, Derek X started off as a target. These rumors that he had spread rumors, and a lot of stuff happened week 1. Derek X is a big target that first week. He basically has to win veto to save himself. He does that, and now he's in a pretty good position. And he's not necessarily being targeted by anyone. He's not super tight with anyone, but there's a lot of people that see him as someone they want to hold on to, grab onto as a vote and everything else. And so there's a lot of things about Derek X's game, which I feel a little bit in common with as well. So maybe Kylan, maybe Derek X. I don't know. If I was in a house, I'd probably be more like one of the Team Jokers that would just be off to the side and just fighting every week to try to stay alive one more week. There's something to be said for that as well. I tell you what, Brittany, she's had a rough few weeks, right? I don't wish what she's had to go through on anyone, and she's certainly been emotional about it. But she's still there, and she's still fighting, and she's still doing everything she can. So major props and applause to Brittany. If she wins HOH or if she goes on a block, either way, her emotional ups and downs are going to make for some interesting TV, I think. But no, power to Brittany for still being there. Sometimes that's all it takes is just survive another week and keep on fighting. All right, let's see what else. Terrell said, can you watch movies in the jury house? I don't know, because I was never in the jury house. I absolutely don't know. I'll tell you this, that week that I was in and y'all may not know that. I know some people do, but if you're voted out 5th place all the way to 9th place, I guess, you go to the jury house. But the 4th place person, when they're voted out, there's not enough time. I don't even know where the jury house was. I think it was back up in the hills of Hollywood, somewhere over there. But after I was booted out, I was told that it would take too long, too much effort to get me out to the jury house, because the very next night they were doing the big jury roundtable wrap-up where we talked to Dr. Will and talk about the final 3 people and all of that. And so they said, yeah, Cliff, you're not doing that. We're going to send you immediately to the sequester spot for the next week where you're going to hang out, and then you'll vote next week for the finale winner. So I don't know about the jury house, but inside my sequester spot, I did have a little DVD player and a bunch of albums with all kinds of DVDs. I binged on Mad Men. It's what I watched a lot of while I was in sequester after the fact. So yeah, but I don't know about the jury house. I'm not really sure. All right, let's see. What else? Kevin High says, I think Sarah Beth made a mistake by constantly picking Hannah during during the Royal Flush conversations. I think after Kai, Tiffany, Xavier went for that situation, so something was going on. Yeah, and sorry, I kind of was paraphrasing a little bit. That I think she made a huge mistake too. She had the whole Royal Flush, I think so. Basically, Team Kings, Team Queens, everyone out there. Christian is basically saying, yeah, I don't know who I'm going to go after. What do y'all think? Or I think actually he said, I've got my targets, but I'm curious to see what y'all think. Just because someone asks you what you think in front of a big old group doesn't mean that you have to start throwing out names. Sarah Beth in fantastic position, but then she throws out Whitney's name. Now, to her, credit, I don't know if that's the right word. She doesn't know about the Cookout Alliance, so she doesn't realize when she mentions Hannah's name that she's going to kind of raise the cackles of some of the people in that alliance, and that there's other alliances that she doesn't know about that are protecting different people. You can't ever assume that you know everything in that house, and when you start throwing out names like that, you run the risk of all kinds of things happening. First of all, with that many people in the house, what are the odds that someone isn't going to go back and whisper to Hannah that, hey, Sarah Beth just threw your name out? And that's all it takes. Now you got a sworn mortal enemy for the rest of the time you're in the house. And then Hannah, whoever her tight relationships are that you may or may not know about, suddenly now they're gunning after you as well. So yeah, Sarah Beth played a good game, but that was a little bit of a faux pas on her behalf. She should have stayed quiet. What she probably really should have done is waited for other people to volunteer all the names out there. And once she felt like there was a consensus of who everyone else wanted, then she could chime in and say, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm supporting y'all all the way, guys. You don't ever want to be too bold and be taking the lead too much sometimes in the house, because all it takes is one little whispered comment that gets passed around, and there's just no secrets inside the Big Brother house. So yeah, I think that was, if Sarah Beth goes home in the next week or two, we know exactly where it occurred, and it's going to be that meeting up in the HOH room with the Royal Flush. That's where it all fell apart for. It only takes one conversation, unfortunately, in there. All right, let's see. What else do we have? All right, I never answered the question, but if I want to do it, if they had clowns in the house this season, who do y'all think would respond, be the most fun to watch on the cameras? I got 3 for y'all. I think Brittany would be fun watching, because I can imagine her responses. I think Azza would be a little fun. Azza plays an emotional game. I have a feeling that she responds emotionally to all kinds of stimulations and all that. So Clown probably be fun with her. But my top person that I absolutely want to see the first time a clown shows up in one of those windows has got to be Derek Frazier. I think he would scream and holler and make it as every bit as entertaining as we think he would, and I'd love to see it. So if Big Brother producers are watching this show, and you should be if you're not, here's my vote to bring in clowns in the house. Please bring in clowns and let us see what happens with it. So there you go. My little personal opinion with that. All right, let's see if I can catch up with a few of these comments. Do you think anyone can outsmart Tiffany? I think we talked about that. And the clown college is, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Wonder what kind of diploma you get when you go to clown college. Little red noses everywhere. All right, there's always one Cliff Notes, a person gives Cliff Notes a downvote. Yeah, that's all right. Because you know what's cool? There's someone that comes out and gives me a couple of downvotes every recap I do and everything. That means someone that maybe doesn't like me is still coming out to my show every single day and watching at least a second or two and long enough to give me a downvote. I'm cool with that. Welcome aboard. I welcome those who love the show and those who can't stand listening to me talk. Hey, it's okay. You wouldn't be the first, and you won't be the last. So that's cool. All right, let's see. Anyway, Derek F would punch the clowns. Haha. Yeah, I think he would too. Well, no, he would. Derek, he'd want to, and he maybe would pull back a little bit. But I think I remember Jessica Milagros' voice when she fell off the wall in my season. I can picture something similar from Derek. I can picture it. They've got in the movies this Wilhelm scream. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that. It's a scream that you hear in all these different. I can see Derek doing something like that. That'd be fun. All right, Boss and Cliff, I love your smiling attitude. Well, thank you. I have fun out here. It makes it easy to smile and have fun with you guys. Moss saying also, people who think Sarah Beth and Kylan are a couple are idiots. Sarah has a girlfriend. Nah, I agree with you. But here's the thing. Just because people are saying that they're a little bit more than just friends, that there could be some kind of showmance, it doesn't matter whether people actually believe that or not. Sometimes people say that just because it matches up with their agenda. Case in point, Tiffany. Tiffany was talking about that, saying, I think they may be tighter than you think. I've even heard Tiffany say, the Sarah Beth keeps talking about her girlfriend Shelly, but I bet Shelly maybe is just like her sister or something. They're not really girlfriend, maybe just her sister she lives with or something. So Tiffany's using that to imply that, yeah, Sarah Beth may not be telling us quite the truth about her relationships and her availability, because she wants other people in the house to think that Kylan and Sarah Beth could be an item. Even if they aren't now, that it's a possibility they could be an item a little bit later down the road. And why is that? Because if Tiffany gets people to start thinking that Kylan's top interest is in Sarah Beth instead of the Cookout Alliance, well, then people are going to get nervous, and people are going to be that much more ready to boot Sarah Beth out the door in order to bring Kylan back into the fold and protect the people that Tiffany wants protected. So, yeah, don't necessarily call them idiots, Ma. They may know exactly what they're doing. They may not believe what they're saying for a heartbeat, but it's all perception is reality inside the house, right? It doesn't matter what's actually true. It's what other people believe, what you can convince them to believe. That's what's important inside that house. And I think that's some of what you've got going on right now. Shayla Zustman. So what's your favorite Big Brother season of all time? That's tough. That's like picking your favorite child. I mean, there's some seasons that I enjoy for the strategy. There's some that I enjoy for the absolute chaos that takes place. I love season 8 because it's the first season I watched all the way through, and Evil Dick and Jen, and yeah, just a bunch of crazy stuff that went on that particular season. There's other seasons I enjoyed, like the season with Brittany, just because she is so funny in the diary room. I watched Big Brother that season just to watch her diary room sessions. And then you've got others. Remember Amber? They always call her the Whambulance. They call her Whambulance because she was always crying in the diary room. So, I don't know. I can't say there's a favorite season, because I could go into any single season and find an episode or two or a person or two that I just absolutely was thrilled to watch throughout the whole season. And there's other things in every season that I could probably say, yeah, that's not my favorite part of that particular season. So it's tough to pick that. Molly O'Brien, howdy. I saw you say hello. And Bob Kolb, howdy to you as well. Window Wendy, are you still in touch with all of Cliff's Angels? Yeah, for the most part. I talked to Nicole more than anyone else. We still talk quite a bit. Kat, every once in a while, mainly with Kat, it's a little bit more talking, DMs and things like that. You know, Kat, she's off jet setting all over the world, so it's a little bit tough to see. Jessica, I talk to every once in a while. I'm going to be seeing Jessica on Friday. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to the Big Brother boxing match. Jessica's going to be a ring girl. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I've got to make sure I give myself enough time for that. So yeah, I still talk to all of them. I haven't seen. Kat came to a meet and greet that I did up in Arlington, Texas, soon after the show was over. She came up, and her parents and my family all went and had dinner together and all. And that was cool. I saw her then, and then I saw Kat and Nicole a little bit later when we went up to Calgary for a meet and greet. But those are the only ones I've actually seen. I haven't seen anyone else from my season, because then COVID came and everything shut down. And same with Jessica. I haven't talked to Jessica except by DMs and such for a while. But again, I'm going to see her on Friday, and that's going to be kind of cool. Rosa Martinez, does anyone know about Derek's father yet? I don't think so. I'm not sure they do, because, and the reason I'm saying that is because Frenchie didn't know about it. He didn't have a clue until he got out of the house, and then he says he found out about Derek's father, and he also found out, I guess, at that point that Xavier really is an attorney, which he didn't know either. So is it possible that someone within the Jokers or the Cookout Alliance may know that Derek F was a little more forthcoming with one of them? Possibly, but Derek F and Frenchie were so tight that first couple of weeks that if Derek was going to tell anyone, I think he would have told Frenchie. So the fact that Frenchie didn't know, I have a feeling that no one knows, which is going to be kind of cool when he gets out of the house and and he finally tells anyone. You know about faux pas, don't you, Cliff? Who's saying that? Brian Hossa, was that you, Brian? Yeah, I've made a few faux pas. You know, I own it. No one plays a perfect game of Big Brother. Even the winners don't play a perfect game. But certainly those of us who didn't win, didn't play a perfect game, I'll own the occasional mistakes I made, and I'll be proud of the moves I made that were successful. It's just like life. Sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't. You can't look back too much. You just got to keep going ahead. All right, do people recognize you when you're out and about? Brian's asking. Yeah, not so much when I'm wearing a mask. So for the past year, not as much. But yeah, it's funny, Brian, because I'll still go somewhere and be off in my own little world thinking about just, whatever. I got to stop and get milk on the way home or something like that. And all of a sudden someone comes up to me and it says, you're the guy. You're that guy from the show. Yeah. I had that happen at a convenience store. I was traveling and I was just over there getting a Gatorade, and all of a sudden a woman comes up to me and she says, do you live around here? Because I feel like I recognize you. I said, well, do you watch TV? And all of a sudden she said, oh my God, Big Brother. And she knew who I was. And so, yeah, that people do sometimes, Brian, not everyone, which is probably good. If everyone did, it'd go to my head and I probably would be horrible. So no, but a few people do. And that's always kind of a cool thing, especially when it's somewhere where I have some time to chat a little bit about Big Brother and get some inside scoops and some things like that. All right, let's see. Lindsay, the appearance of impropriety is dangerous too. Oh yeah. You've got to, it's you have to be careful in there. Anything can be used to justify getting you out of the house. And so look at Alyssa and Christian. She is so worried that her being linked up with him is going to hurt her game, which it is, and it will. But yeah, if you do anything, and that's not right, I maybe shouldn't say impropriety and then talk about them as a showman. So, whatever, they can do what they want and enjoy your time in the house. But yeah, everything you do in there, you got to be a little careful about. All right, let's see. Since you're such a Big Brother fan, this is Shayla. Since you're such a Big Brother fan, it'd be interesting if you did a video about your favorite players and moves for each Big Brother season. Maybe after the season is over, you could do it. That'd be fun. I mean, I know people do that for Survivor and other shows, and that'd be neat to do. And I could do a whole lot of videos about that and talk about some of these moves, because I think there's some. I mean, you hear the big Dan's funeral. Everyone talks about Dan's funeral, and that was a brilliant move and all of that. But I like just the little things, just the little comment that was made as someone's getting ready to go to bed. Someone says, oh, so-and-so said they were looking for you. And maybe that's all they said. And it just set this whole thing in motion for the whole rest of the season of someone suddenly, well, why were they looking for me? I thought they knew I was down here. Why? And I don't know. There's little things that can happen in a season. And I feel like now what I need to do is go back and watch a lot of these past seasons, because I have a feeling that now if I rewatch these things, having been in the house, I have a little bit better understanding of the tiniest little comment and how it can have its effect. And it'd be fun just to say, that's where her downfall began right there. Or that's where she won the whole game just because she said that. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of an interesting idea. I'll have to think about it. I may have to take a nap first once I get through with the season, because sleep's been a little tight here lately, a little short. James O'Connor, Ozza was funny last night during the competition. Slow and steady wins the race. Oh my gosh, yes. We all hear the story about the turtle and the hare, and the rabbit loses and the turtle wins. Well, it wasn't the turtle and it wasn't the rabbit and the turtle. It was the rabbit and the snail with Ozza. She was so slow. And I don't know how much of that was maybe production that just took one little clip where she did it for a little while and they just kept showing. I don't know. She wasn't making a lot of progress, was she? And here's the thing. From a person who has saved their life by winning one of those rolling competitions, I'll say this. I think a lot of people approach that game wrong because they want to go so nice and slow so they keep control of the ball. But if you're going too slow, you don't have enough momentum carrying you forward. And as a result, that ball just wobbles back and forth, and just the tiniest little turn of that board will cause it to go one way or the other. What I figured out when I did that competition and got back in, because the very first ball I rolled, I tried to go slow and it didn't work. And so the next time I tried to go a little bit faster. And what I very quickly realized is if you get the ball going just a little faster, now you've got enough momentum rolling forward that the ball doesn't want to go off to the left or right as much. Now, you still have to control it. You still have to get around the curves and all of that. But as long as you've got just a little bit of forward progress, it's just a little bit easier to control that ball and a little bit easier just to turn the board a little bit and just get the slight curves. Otherwise, you're just wobbling everywhere and it doesn't work. So in some ways, I think everyone approaches it completely wrong. Says I. They're going to put me in the house someday, and just because they know I'm there, they're going to have another ball rolling competition, and I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to be the cockiest person in the whole house. I'm going to be saying, yeah, this is a piece of cake. Forget the competition. Just tell me now who you want me to put up. I'm going to be the most arrogant person in the house, and I'm going to get my rear end beat because I'm going to be so certain I know how to play the game, and you know what? And I may prove myself completely wrong, but that's my thought. You got to go a little faster than sometimes people think. Jeannie Carter, are you still giving tickets away to the fight? Yeah, I'm going to do that in just a little bit. In fact, 7:41, so we're going to talk about that pretty quick. And AJ, gang, who's boxing? All right, let's talk about boxing. Is there anything else I need to cover? Yeah, we're probably about there. I was going to talk Olympics a little bit. We may talk if we get time. If not, then that's okay. Every year I say, yeah, I don't have time to watch the Olympics. Every year I get sucked in and I watch a few sports. And I've done that again this time. All right, but let's talk about boxing. I made a few posts about it. For those of you who aren't familiar or aren't aware, there's a Big Brother boxing competition that's taking place on Friday night in my hometown of Arlington, Texas, where I was raised at Arlington High School. I won't sing the alma mater for y'all, but I went to school in Arlington. It's hometown. Well, they just happen to have the Big Brother boxing competition going on there. I live in Houston now, which is a few hours down the road, but that's okay. I'm going back up to watch this boxing competition. Big Brother Canada versus Big Brother USA. I think there's 9 matches in total, and I'm going to screw up if I probably will not remember all of them. Godfrey is competing for the U.S. Beast Mode Cowboy. Josiah is competing. Fessy's competing. Nick from my season is competing. Angela Rockstar is competing. KC is competing. I'm sure I've missed 1 or 2 in there. But anyway, there's 9 American Big Brother contestants fighting against 9 people from Canada. Canada's got some pretty intense fighters. I mean, I've been watching all of them really training hard, but I watch a few of these people. I think Michael Stubley is competing, John Party, a few on the Canadian side. And I watch them box and think, man, if they put me in a ring with those guys, I'd be falling quicker than in a Mike Tyson fight. Yeah, you just come my direction, I'd probably just pass out right then and there because there's some tough looking competitors they're going to be fighting in this match. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they do 3 rounds. Each fight is 3 rounds long with a break. You know, every 3 minutes you get a break for a minute or something like that. So it's going to be a night full of boxing. They're going to have on the Thursday night. They're going to have a weigh-in beforehand and do all that. And what I haven't told y'all yet, and what really excites me, is I'm not just watching. I get to participate, but I don't have to get in the ring and get my bell rung like some of these folks. No. I get to be the ring guy. I don't know if that's the right word. The ring escort. We've got 3 ring girls. Jessica Milagros from my season. I told you I was going to meet her next week. Jessica from my season. Spicy V, Victoria from last season of Big Brother Canada. And Julie Vu, who also is from last season of Big Brother Canada. So those are the 3 ring girls. Well, they can't be expected to get up into the ring all by themselves, right? No. They got to have someone to help them out. So I'm going to be the escort. I'm going to take them by the hand, guide them up the stairs. I'll be the one pulling the rope apart so they can step into the ring, walk around with their little round 1, round 2, round 3, whatever. When they come back, I'll help them back out, escort them back down to their seats. And I got a seat right there at ringside. If there's blood flowing, it's going to be all over this cowboy hat. I hope not, but I'm going to be pretty close. So it's pretty cool. Who else is doing? Natalie Negrate is going to be the announcer. Ryan Valentine from Big Brother Canada, who I met up in Calgary once, a cool guy. He's going to be doing the play-by-play, I guess, the announcement. They're doing it pay-per-view, and they're selling tickets as well, because obviously not everyone can come to North Texas to Arlington for the event. So they're doing it pay-per-view also, and I'm looking forward to it. And here's why I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm looking forward just to cheer on people, cheer on Nick and some of the American boxers and all that. But I'm looking forward to it because I get to meet all these people that some I've met before and some I've talked to before. There's a lot, though, I haven't. And I'm so excited because I was a Big Brother fan before I ever went in that house. And there's going to be so many Big Brother folks there that I get to interact with and hang out with and talk to. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So as part of that, I actually did have was able to get a couple of free tickets from the producers, from promoters. I guess it's promoters more than producers, right? I was able to get a couple of free tickets, and they said, "Hey, promote the fight a little bit. We'll give you a couple of free tickets to give away." So, all right, that's fine. That's it. Here's the thing: I'm not getting paid for this. No one's paying me anything. I got a ticket to get into the fight, but that's it. I'm not getting paid. So don't think that I'm out here shilling and walking out with $20 million like Rocky or something. Yeah, y'all really thought that, right? No, but I did say, yeah, I'll give away a couple of free tickets. That'd be fantastic. So I had posted out on my Instagram, said, hey, comment on here. And if you do, then we'll have a drawing and we'll get tickets. And I actually had went out to the computer, used a random number generator. And I do have a couple of winners. Should I give it now or should I check the comments? I'll check the comments real quick, and then we'll talk about the winner as well. Or not. Should I just go ahead and do it? All right, I'll do it. I'm not going to tease y'all forever. All right, so here's the deal. I took everyone who had left comments on my thread that said they were interested in going. I put them all down on a list. I randomized it. And as a result, the winner of the 2 free tickets to the Big Brother exhibition boxing match is Presley Bean at Presley Bean. And I don't know if Presley's out here or not. I didn't make that a requirement to get tickets, but I'd never do that. But no, Presley Bean, I'm going to reach out to her. I assume that's a her. Reach out to her, tell her that she's got 2 free tickets. If any of y'all are buddies with her, tell her she's got free tickets. Hey, if you're buddies with her, you may see if you can't claim one of those 2 tickets and go along with her. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. For anyone who wants to go, again, you can get pay-per-view. I think it's like $20. There may even be a discount if you order a little bit early. And then tickets, I don't know how much they are. I don't know if they're a whole lot. But anyway, it's going to be cool. And the other thing, too, they are doing the weigh-in. I'm going to try. I think they'll let me go on Instagram Live. And I'm going to try to record and show as much as I can on Thursday night and Friday night as well. So y'all be checking out the Instagram because I'm so excited. Just hanging out with these people is going to be pretty neat. So if you want to check out my Instagram, I guess my story probably already expired, but you go out to my Instagram post and it's got the details. I think it's celebritynetfights.com, gives you more information. And again, I'm not making any money out of it. I'm just excited to see the fight. I can't believe that Arlington, Texas, my hometown, or at least my childhood hometown, is going to be the center of the reality world on Friday because I've heard there's going to be like 100 Big Brother people and some Survivor and Amazing Race and well, of course Challenge is Big Brother, but it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun. And I'm probably gonna have more fun than some of the people. I can imagine there's gonna be some people that get pounded, absolutely pounded in this fight because there's people that I think are taking it seriously. So I'll be there to catch them when it's not a wrestling competition. It's not Ultimate Fighter. They don't have a ring cage up around them. So if anyone does get thrown out of the ring, I'm here to catch them. I welcome them with open arms as I crash back into the seats. And I got a little cushioning on me. So I'll take the fall and protect the fighters. That's my other job, I suppose. But my main job is to protect my 3 ring girls. And I'm going to take it seriously and have fun with it. I'm looking forward to seeing Jessica again. I'm looking forward to seeing Victoria and Julie from Big Brother Canada because I watched all of Big Brother Canada as well. So it's fun. And I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to be cheering on Fessy. Josh Martinez I don't think I mentioned Josh's name. Josh Martinez is going to be fighting as well. And Josh is a lot more of an athlete than some of y'all maybe think. Because we've watched the challenge. What was that one competition where he's throwing the balls into the panels and they wouldn't even break and people made fun of him. But you realize some of that's just the editors that are just having fun with the edit and all of that. Josh is going to come out there and give it everything he's got as well. And I know Fessy is, and I know KC is as well. So yeah, and Rockstar. I can't imagine. I don't know if she'll win or not, but I have a feeling that she's going to come out there and she's going to give it everything she's got, and she won't hold anything back. So we've got that. All right, what else is going on, guys? We can talk about a few more things. I don't watch BB Canada. Maybe I should. Rose is saying, yeah, I think I've enjoyed it the last couple of seasons. Now, 2 seasons ago, they had to shut it down early, and I still feel so sorry for those people who didn't get to finish their season, because there were some great players in that one. But then this season, that was a great season. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's going to be fun. All right, guys, it is 7:51. Let me talk about one final thing, if I could. I mentioned I was going to talk about Olympics, and I do want to talk about that just a little bit. Have y'all been watching it? Again, every season I say I'm not going to watch it. I get sucked in, especially there's some like the swimming. Yeah, you see a little swimming after a while. It's like, yeah, okay. But there's some swimming that I have very, very particular reasons for watching. I'll mention that. But I've been watching. I like watching oddball sports. I like watching the canoeing, the kayaking, some of the skateboarding and stuff they do. I would absolutely kill myself doing that, but it's fun watching. Every time I turn it on, it seems like fencing is on. And fencing's one of those sports that I watch it and I think, well, I bet if you put me in a fencing uniform, you gave me one of those swords, I maybe wouldn't win the gold medal, but I feel like I could hold my own with just a little bit of practice, right? I have a feeling I would get smoked so bad in it, but that's one of those sports that you kind of think, yeah, if I tried hard enough, I could probably do it, not realizing just how much effort that thing takes. They are good at it. Amazing. So I watched that. But now the swimming event that I've enjoyed watching, and team handball and some of those silly ones as well. But the one I'm really looking forward to, and they haven't had it just yet, is they used to call it synchronized swimming. Now I guess they call it rhythmic swimming. I'm not sure why they changed the name, but it's where all the women are in the water and they're doing their strokes all at the same time. And it's just amazing how in sync they can be with each other. Well, here's a cool little deal. I have a niece who competed in the Junior Olympics for synchronized swimming or artistic swimming. They'll probably yell at me for using the wrong term. Man, I hope they don't yell at me. But I have a niece who competed in the Junior Olympics for artistic swimming, and she did pretty well. I mean, she ranked right up in the top. I don't remember what she did, but she was pretty high. She made it into the last bits of the competition and did great. So having watched her compete and knowing how much effort it takes to do that, and my gosh, these kids, they can go underwater. They can hold their breath for an hour, I think, if they want to. They got to have a little dolphin built into them because dolphins don't. Yeah, dolphins hold their breath, don't they? Because they're mammals. There you go. Your science lesson for the day. But no, it's amazing the amount of work it takes for them to do what they do. But she was in the Junior Olympics, and somewhere down the road, I just may be somewhere at an Olympic event yelling for a family member who's competing in the Olympics. And how cool would that be? I'd be so happy. That'd be neat. Jeff Mertz. Jeff Mertz, my oldest, longest, dearest childhood friend. Jeff, how are you doing, my friend? When you see your mom, give her a hug and a kiss from Jeannie and I. Absolutely. Jeff and I grew up together in Fort Worth, and then when we moved to Arlington, his family moved to Arlington. We went to Texas A&M together. We lived in the same dorm room together. And then Jeff moved off to California, but Jeff was one of the first people I saw when I got outside the Big Brother house. So, hey, Jeff, absolutely. I'll give her a big old hug, and I'll give your parents hugs as well, because they still live next to each other. Deacon Woodgate, who is your pick to win this season? Man, I don't know, Deacon. That's a tough question to ask. I think the Cookout Alliance is going to carry a lot of weight to the very end. And so I think it's dangerous to pick anyone that's not in that alliance right off the bat. So then if I look at that alliance and who I think is in there that would win the whole thing, Tiffany's an awful tough choice not to be making, all right? I would say Tiffany, Xavier, or Kyland, maybe. I could see a final 3. I don't know. Would they go after each other, though, just because they're so worried about each other? I don't know. I think now here's the thing, and Dawn's already gone. I don't remember if I mentioned this. Claire is worried about Tiffany. Claire said, if I go to the final 2 with Tiffany, there's no way I'm winning. I'm losing the jury vote every single time. And I feel like there's a lot of people that maybe would be in the same situation with Tiffany, which is good and bad, because that means that Tiffany's got a good chance to win. But it also may mean that towards the end, there's going to be a lot of people saying, yeah, as much as I love you, Tiffany, ain't a chance in the world I'm letting you go to the final 2 with me. So she may get cut just a little bit short. I could see her maybe finishing third or fourth. But Kyland, I don't know. I'm going to, if I absolutely had to bet, I'm going to say Kyland. May be my top choice to win it, just because I feel like he has the relationships. He's good enough in the competitions, and yet he's not so overpowering in terms of trying to manipulate everyone that he's going to alienate everyone. He's not playing too hard, I don't think. I think he's just doing everything just about right this time. But it's so early in the season to be declaring that. His game could completely blow up tomorrow, and then y'all are going to say, Cliff, you don't know anything. But that's my pick, is Kyland and Xavier in the final two? Maybe. I don't know. But we've also heard a little friction between Xavier. Xavier was a little concerned about Kyland's relationship with Sarah Beth and how that comes into play with the Cookout Alliance. So there's no certainties in this game. And just because they're in the Cookout Alliance together, that doesn't mean when you get to the end that there isn't going to be just as much cutthroat backstabbing and betrayals as we've always seen. But if I had to pick, I'll say Kyland. How does that work for you? All right, let's see what else. Jaron Daly, can we get a cyber autograph if we see it at the fights? Yeah, a cyber autograph. I'm not sure exactly how those work, but if you see me at the fight, give me a shout out if you're watching on pay-per-view or whatever. If you're there at the arena, give me a big old giant holler, and I'll try to holler back to you. And if you see me while I'm just standing around and I'm not busy throwing some fighter back into the ring or cutting someone's eye because they need to keep on fighting, things like that. But yeah, I may give you an autograph in blood if these things get particularly gory. Probably not. Hopefully not. That may not be what you want to take home with you. But yeah, find me. I'd love it. If there are any of y'all out here that are watching Cliff Notes Live and you're at the fight Friday night and you see me, please grab me and say hello, because otherwise I'd feel horrible. I've had one or two people in past say, "Oh, you seem like you were busy," and I just didn't want to, bother me. Always bother me. Fine, if you see me somewhere, if you see me in the grocery store, grab me. I love talking Big Brother, and especially someone who's out here. So yeah, grab me, shout at me, get my attention, do whatever you have to do. Don't throw a water bottle at my head or something if you're back behind somewhere, but you know what I'm talking about. And my mom, hey mom, says, you got into mischief together, me and Jeff. Yeah, Jeff and myself and my brother Robert, we were kind of the Three Musketeers is what we'd say. Some people maybe would call us more the Three Stooges. We probably fit in somewhere in between. Yeah, we got into a little bit of trouble. We got a little bit of trouble while we were growing up. Maybe even a little bit more trouble while we were actually in college. That's more than just a Cliff Notes episode. That's a whole season worth of stories right there. And maybe once we get through Big Brother, I'll tell y'all a few college stories. I've told y'all some travel stories. I'll tell you a few college stories as well. But we'll have to change a lot more names before I start telling y'all some of those. I had a wild streak in. What can I say? Before the wife. I had to get that in there. Yeah, when the opportunity presents itself, you got to take advantage of it, right? All right, guys, it is 7:59. Wow, it goes so fast. Absolutely fast. Ma saying, I want to meet you in real life so badly. Well, Ma, I don't want to disappoint you. You're going to meet me and say, well, he's just a regular old dude. But yeah, if we're ever in the same city, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to meet every single one of y'all. It'd be fun. We need to have a Cliff Notes Live in person. Now, I don't know where we'll do it that we can get everyone together, but it'd be kind of fun to do. We'd have a heck of a time. All right, Jeffrey Sandy's got to go. So do I. So let's go ahead and shut it down now. Guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Again, I'm doing my recaps every morning, so check me out in the morning. I'll be talking about what happened overnight with the Big Brother house. I do that every day, so I hope to see y'all out there. But in the meanwhile, thank y'all so much. Have a fantastic week. I will see you next Monday. For those of you who aren't watching live, thank you for joining up and getting on board. Send me some questions. I'll try to cover it next week. Have a fantastic week, guys. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love every single one of y'all out there as well. Be safe, be careful, and have an enjoyable, fun week. Cheers, guys. Bye.